Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, let's take a look at the Carly and Nina scene. Here's the thing. I've been a Carly fan for a while, right? And I'm still a Carly fan. But I've noticed the bias when it comes towards Carly and Nina. You look at a scene like this, and it's like, it's so obvious that it's alright. So Carly's sitting there talking to this advertiser. And basically, this dude is like, you're bad press. You know, the way you got the job, the fact that people are sitting there thinking about walking, you're, you know, we were sitting there doing fine with, with Nina and stuff like that. We were very good. And then you come out of nowhere and it's like, we don't know you. So why should we sit there and work with you? Carly sits there and tries to convince this guy to stay. And he takes another call and he's practically ready to walk, which kind of annoyed me a little bit because it's like, if you're just going to sit there and end the relationship, just do it, you know? But anyway, he walks off, he walks over to Nina, him and Nina have been business partners for a hot minute, and he's already sitting there being like, yo, listen, they're practically a waste of time so that they're trying to work with them. Crimson is nothing without you. Brooklyn says some sort of smart remark to Nina, talks to Carly, and Carly's worried that she's going to sit there and lose that account. But then Brooklyn comes in, and Brooklyn's like, "Oh well," they started chatting it up about the famous photographer that they were working with, and the guy's like interested or whatever. So he sits down and starts talking about deception and everything like that. And long story short, the guy is willing to sit there and work with Carly again. Now, this is one of those things where it just kind of felt in a little bit kind of like a Hail Mary. And I feel like if it was more of like a realer scenario, he still would have probably went to he probably would have went to Nina if Nina was like, "Hey, listen, I'm thinking about making another magazine and just doing it my way." And the guy probably wouldn't want to go on with Nina because he already had a good relationship. But because of the way that this show is written, and a lot of times when it comes to us Nina favoring Carly, it just went that way. And it's one of those things where it's like you could have watched this, and I already knew that most likely that she was gonna sit there and get this guy back on her side because of the way that the writing is. Now I get it. You gotta sit there and you gotta sit there and appease to the mass audience to some extent. And there's more people that like Carly than like Nina. Now, I've never been a huge fan of Nina. Hell, part of the reason why we started doing reviews was because Nina pissed me off so much when he had Michelle Stafford. So, I'm not a huge fan of Nina, right? But you look at a scenario like this, and it's like, well, she was going to sit there and lose the account, and most likely it was probably going to go to Nina since Nina's already talking about doing her own magazine and getting her staff back and everything like that with Martin. But because the show seems to favor Carly more, she automatically gets the win, and it's like, Jesus Christ, it's not even, you're not even surprised anymore at this point. Now I heard that they changed writers, and I don't know how long that's gonna, how long ago from the old writers to the new writers is gonna sit there and take effect. But I would like to generally be surprised. And a scene like this, we have Brooklyn that just comes out of nowhere, and it's just the Hail Mary, and she automatically gets the win. It's like, can you attempt to surprise me? Very curious to sit there and see what Nina's gonna do. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't do this whole Team Nina and Team Carly. I've always went with Team Logic, but I do tend to sit there and try to look at things from different angles. There's this whole conversation between Michael and Sonny. Let's just put it this way: it lasted way longer than it needed to last. And that's because, once again, they got to sit there and view um, fill in the new people or people who haven't watched in a minute what's going on. It really comes down to, are you going to sit there and forgive Michael or are you not? He explained his reasons, why he did what he did, and basically it's like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, if Nina's going to be in your life or not, I'm going to do my best to make sure it doesn't affect us. And for the most part, he didn't sit there. In most part, Sonny didn't sit there and say that he forgave him, but in a lot of ways, he did. Um, at least that's what it appears to be. Michael gets a call from Willow. Willow is talking about some papers that was dropped off at the gatehouse, and Willow's like, oh no, you can sit there and stay. You can come over. The kids like it, and I would like it. And part of me was just like, oh, that's very generous of you allowing him back on his own property. How very generous and nice of you. The fact that she actually threw this man out of his own property is nothing more than a laughable joke, but okay, sure. Let's sit there and play it this way because it's a soap opera, and the general consensus is that it's a woman's fantasy, so this would make sense. In the real world, I don't know how most people would do it, but it'll be a cold day in hell before a woman ever sit there and tell me I'm not allowed to sit there and be on my own property. That's just wouldn't happen. But sure, we'll play it. We'll play it that way. Um, Now the conversation between Drew and Michael. Drew is on this whole, I gotta sit there and come after Nina. Nina did this to me. I was affected in a large part because of Nina, and it's not like, Nina didn't have this coming. Nice way of not taking accountability for your own actions, Drew. That's just progress right there. And Willow, of course, is Smith there trying to play peacemaker, peacekeeper, or whatever. Basically, Smith is saying, I don't want you to go after her, not because I feel sorry for her. Because she did sit there and say, Nina already lost everything, so what are you even Smith there going after this woman at this point? But basically, because she doesn't want him to sit there and change, he's a good man. But the thing is, experiences in life can often change you. It's for the better or for the worse. You know, it shapes you and molds you into the person that you are. And although you can sit there and always try to do your best, there's a line, the famous line, and I don't know how much this applies to this soap opera in general, but let me see. Hold on, how's it going? The difference between a hero and a villain is one bad day. And that's what it comes down in Drew's case and Drew's experience. He's had way too many bad days to sit there and try to play nice with people. Willow tries to remind him of the good person, the usual cornball stuff, and, he winds up leaving. Now, the conversation between Anna and John, because does anyone really call him Jagger at this point, besides some of the, like characters? I don't know exactly how the law works, so I'm going to refer to the people who do practice law, knows about the law, and knows about jurisdiction or whatever. But the way that Anna was meant to come across, like, listen, you can either sit there and play by my rules or whatever, you can get the hell up out my way. And I'm just like, the last time I checked, and I could be wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but can't the FBI just kind of supersede what the local authorities are doing? Like, if they're not going to sit there and willing to play ball and they want to sit there and be difficult, and it really comes down to it, I'm pretty sure the FBI can sit there and take charge. So I don't understand, why is Anna coming in, I'm trying to be as nice as I possibly can and not curse or anything, but like, you give this chick a little bit of power, and now she's all like, well, listen, we're going to sit there and play by my way, the highway. And I'm just like, you're the cops. He's the FBI agent. I'm pretty sure the FBI could sit there and shut this whole ish down if they want to. So it was almost kind of laughable. But he was like, listen, just for the sake of this case and probably the rules of soap opera, I'm just going to sit there and just play ball with you. They get to talking. Dante's in there. They exchange ideas about weapons and common denominators and all this other stuff. They go through all that babble and everything. And, you know, the way the conversation goes, Dante's just like, so you just want to get your guy. You don't really care about other people that's involved. And John, I was about to call him Jagger, is like, you may be a risk factor because your dad is Sonny Corinthos. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and Jagger winds up leaving. Okay. John winds up leaving. I don't know, maybe just Jagger's just a her name for me or something. But Dante's worried that if they don't inform him on anything, if they don't inform Sonny on anything, he will wind up sitting there chasing ghosts and not even be privy to who the real target is. And that's how Anna feels also. But, working with the local mobster on her first day as commissioner may not exactly be a good look. So she's kind of in a tough spot. Um, yeah, I did sit there and talk about the conversation between Nina. I'm pretty sure a conversation between Nina and Marty. She wants certain things done, and she did feel like she can get him disbarred. Of course, Marty's like that's going to be hard to prove, but because I did sit there and like how things turned out, I will sit there and help you. Also, another thing that Willow did sit there and say to Drew as far as trying to stop him from doing what he's doing is because she felt like she set the whole thing in motion by not telling people about her diagnosis, which led Carly to sit there and not tell Nina, and everything just kind of went forth from there. So at least on some level, she does sit there and take accountability for not sitting there telling people, at the very least, not telling Michael, and everything kind of snowballed from that moving forward. So I'm glad that she did sit there and acknowledge that. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Also, I didn't really care about the scene with Lois. I felt like it was just fluff. She was meant to talk about her traditions and stuff like that, which honestly, she just comes across as kind of stuffy. She was just pretty much like, oh well, when I grew up, I was very close to my parents and my grandparents, and we kind of shared one roof and this, that, and the third, and traditions and stuff like that. And I think Gregory was more just like, or at least the way I took it, I was just like, okay, I get that you have your traditions that you did when you were coming up and the people that came up before, but Brooklyn's her own person. So why can't she not have her own traditions instead of just following everything else that everyone else is there doing? This is something that she was there doing when they were planning the wedding, and like two idiots, Brooklyn and Chase said nothing and just practically let her mother just kind of just steamrolled over them. And she's doing it again, talking to Gregory about these traditions and stuff. I'm like, that's nice, that's great, but how about you let your daughter be her own person, or is that just not allowed? Anyway, honestly, tell you the truth, I wish I was able to sit there and play Tetris on my phone, but unfortunately, because there was a news interruption, um, I had to sit there and watch General Hospital on an unnamed site that I can't say because of YouTube. So, unfortunately, I had to sit there and kind of suffer listening to her, which is, yeah, I was not exactly in a good mood about that. So, while that was going on, Finn was sitting there telling Chase about, maybe it's time to sit there and have him live with someone. Like maybe him with Violet and stuff like that, because what happened at the park. I mean, at the funeral. And Chase is like, listen, he needs to sit there and have his independence. Maybe we give him a watch. If he falls, the watch will alert us, and then we can do something. But let him have his independence as long as he can. And then Grady comes over. It's like, yeah, I think I should sit there and live with you because I'm like falling and not in good health anymore. So that whole conversation just kind of went right out the window. Yeah, it just went right out the window. I mean, granted, I get what Jason Smith you're trying to say and where he was coming from, but in the end, Gregory was like, "Yeah, it's cool. I'll just live with you. We'll work it out. We'll talk about it." Yeah, almost kind of made it seem like that whole other part was just null and void, but whatever. I felt like there was something else, and I was like, I would have been remiss if I didn't talk about that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section, or if I missed anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows: General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. The streams have been a lot of fun. If you were there yesterday, I had to sit there and somebody else. But unfortunately, that's the thing. A lot of times, with these streams, it's like for all the good people, there's always one bad person, and I think I have an idea of who this person is. We'll talk about it in the live stream tonight. They always seem to be in my streams. Not to sit there and toot my own horn, but I think I'm among the best soap streams. I'm trying to get a little bit better and just make things a lot more fun and more positive, but and granted, I know this person has been in other people's streams just being a troll, but for some odd reason, it seems like I'm a magnet for it. Anyway, come through tonight. We'll sit there and talk about it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.